No. She's no. Iron ladies do not say the boys are ganging up on me. You can't imagine Thatcher.
Oh, she was just doing that to be opportunistic.
No, she's done it twice now. And also, Thatcher did weep publicly at the memorial service for those who fell in the recovery of the Falkland Islands, but I don't think she ever welled up in any other way.
Oh, she did when she was expelled from government.
Oh, perhaps she did that, yes.
She did.
Well, I saw
you would.
I was there in Paris.
The tear was photographed.
Maybe brushing away a fractional one.
No, it was when she was actually in the car on the way out of Downing Street. The tear was brilliantly photographed. It was there.
Right.
Unwiped.
That was the night it was all over.
That was it, yeah.
The night when she was first voted out, when she was in
she didn't believe that.
I was there on the steps. She said, I'll fight on.
She'd make it.
With the British, in the Faubourg Saint-Honoré. And I also met, in my time, I met Benazir several times. I've met Mrs. Indira Gandhi. I did not meet Mrs. Golda or Mrs. Bandaranaike, but the women who really had to put up with male-dominated societies, a real male persecution, are not self-pitying and whimpering in this awful way. I think that if I was a female or a feminist, either, that I think would get me down a lot. You either are as tough as, or you are not. Or as humorous and ironic and determined as. Well, you're not, or you aren't.
Maybe the difference in our positions.
Can't have that both ways.
Deep down, she is tough, and this is all handling. This is show your warm side. I think it's calculated. I think she is tough inside.
Well, she is when it comes to her own interests.
Yeah, she is. She's relentless.
Yes. Well, I saw her shed a tear for herself in New Hampshire, as did everybody else. Well, I'd like to know what I said in my piece. Is it conceivable that if it was pointed out to her, as it has been, that her telling Clinton, her husband, her disbarred, perjured, impeached, professional liar husband, to stay out of Bosnia in the first place probably cost 200,000 lives. Would that thought make her shed a tear? I'm willing to bet you everything I own that it would not. She could not, it's not conceivable for her to imagine her shedding a tear for another person. That is what I'm looking for. And I think I've found it. And what it means is she's a psycho. Like him.
Peter, your thoughts on the...
No, I think we had an agreement in 1776 or around about then that we stayed out of this.
So no outsider's perspective.
But
we have enough problems of our own.
Now, I gather she's joined a very extremely conservative religious group now to validate her faith claims, which are the latest incarnation. And now I noticed that Senator McCain has stopped being an Episcopalian and become a Baptist. And I see that Senator Obama has joined some rock and roll, shout and holler, horror church, or indeed has been for a long time. So it looks to me as if religion is poisoning the campaign in a big way. And every candidate seems determined to defame and trample upon the one thing that makes the United States the great country it claims to be. You don't have to do any of this, and the government can never tell you you can. It's a real shame. And I hope they're changing ships on a falling tide as well, because all the evidence is that the number of Americans who are not impressed by supernatural claims is the fastest growing group in the country.
Well, look at the books that have been selling. Sam Harris, you...
Yeah, but the Pew, you read the Pew study. The largest, it's 15% of Americans now say they don't identify with any denomination at all. 40% of it change their denomination at least once. The ex-Catholics are, or the lapsed, as the church insists on calling them, because you can't leave, as you know, a totalitarian church. You're not allowed to leave. You can be excommunicated, you can't leave. Something people don't understand very well. Is the largest group in the country. But the fastest growing group are those who don't identify. And they are regularly insulted by candidates who act as if they don't exist. Well, they do. We do. And that's to say nothing of the huge numbers of people who do say, yes, I'm a Lutheran or a Catholic, and who aren't really. And who are riddled with doubts. And,
the two speeches that are getting so much comment in this campaign, McCain's speech on his Mormonism down at the Bush Library, and the Obama speech in Philadelphia, where he's trying to transcend the racial issue. So,
Well, to say nothing of what got former great Michigander out of the race, yes. But that was disgraceful. If you remember when the Carolina primary was in major contention, he didn't even go, I think, to the state. He stayed entirely in Nevada, where his campaign was run entirely by a Mormon sectarian machine, in order to eke out a narrow victory there, entirely based on a confessional turnout and donation, making himself the Mormon candidate.
yeah.
A crackpot, racketeering sect. No one can look at the Book of Mormon or the history of Joseph Smith without realizing that they're seeing a plain fraud being evolved in the clear light of day, to roars of laughter from its originators.
You don't want to be able to control your wife's
it's enough
destiny?
enough to make a cat laugh.
Whispering the
Have
secret
you read
word.
Fawn Brody's book on Joseph Smith?
No.
Well, God damn. The local newspapers of upstate New York draw a perfectly good picture of a many times convicted, very, very charismatic fraud.
So, Peter, are you saying no, you're pissing the
Nothing more.
I don't want to look.
Nothing more.
How many of you are here? Look, let's.
Gosh,
We're supposed to do this and jump around and get short.
It's been a fantastic campaign from the secular point of view, because of what the crying lack of missing quality is becoming increasingly more. What we want is less faith-based pretense, less faith-based hypocrisy. Why do they insult us by thinking what we want to hear as professions of? We don't. We want competence and integrity. We don't want professions of supernatural allegiance.
Can I ask you what you think?
And that, by the way, is true. I should just say one more. That's true. People, I presume, who are honestly and sincerely religious. They do not want to hear their own faith exploited,
Yeah.
or cheapened in this
Yeah,
way.
no, I think that's true. Let's keep this
Well,
last.
let's hope it's a big miscalculation, this religious concept.
Yeah.
I think it probably is.
We got to scoot here pretty soon. The last question.
I just wanted to ask what you think what role does the media play in that?
In this aspect of it. Lazy, I think they tend to make the assumption that a person who's made a claim of faith has ticked a box that the electorate expects them to check. And I think that it's an unexamined assumption that could stand a lot more examination. And as I've told you, I think I'm very ashamed of the way the profession behaved over the Danish cartoon business. It's happened again this week. Sam Harris was asked to do a piece on the revival of the Danish cartoon question by the Washington Post, and they're not going to print it, and they've more or less told him why. Because he uses this idea of religious violence in the same sentence as the word Islam. And they're not willing to run that risk. And they can't have expected he would avoid the question. And they can't very well ask him to forbid himself to speculate on it. So it's a combination of cowardice and consensus. Actually, Cowardice and Consensus would be the name of any book I wrote about any aspect of the American problem.
Well, hopefully the high grosses you guys are getting with your books will change the media a little bit.
No, they won't.
No.
They won't.
Well, thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you for
Well, please, por nada.
What a great